I want to be the champion, just to be task champion in Renegade bass. Smallmouth, but I know with what I got, we can win. Even if I put 1 or 2 days.
You have to be perfect. Everything has to go your way, because if not, somebody's going to pass you.
Whatever accolades you have or successes are magnified because you can have a lot of pride in what you've accomplished.
Caught everything that day. It was just our day.
It's the start of the 2017 Renegade Bass Classic, taking place here on Lake St. Francis. Over the next 2 days, teams will return to this portion of the St. Lawrence Seaway where smallmouth dwell in the numerous sand flats and deep channels, and where largemouth hide and cover throughout the lake. Day 1 begins with the remnants of the week-long rain showers that played throughout the team's pre-fish.
There's a lot of nervous guys out here right now. It should be a slugfest. I've seen lots of good fish shallow, caught some good fish deep, but who knows?
Hopefully the weather will clear out. We're shallow water fishermen, so if the sun comes out and it's not too windy, it should be conditions that are favorable to our type of fishing.
With the cold front and the rain, we're thinking the fish are going to go deep, and our pre-fish was all deep, so we're confident that we're going to do well today.
There's no doubt that the fish are out there. Despite the bad weather, teams have been able to find them, and they should be on a lot of fish if they make the right choices.
So if 1 to 10 could start moving towards the front, please. 1 to 10. Okay, official time is 7:01. So we'll see you guys at 4 o'clock at the end of the day today.
The biggest prize in Canadian fishing on the line, everyone has invested their time and energy in the hopes of winning it all.
We got a lot of spots. We're going to go deep or shallow. Either way, we got pretty confident we should get, 16 to 20 pounds.
We're kind of excited. We got fish going. Just matter whether we get enough of the big girls.
From talking to some of the other people that fish shallow out here quite a bit, and they're having a hard time finding any bunches of fish at all. They might find one here, one there, and I mean, to be able to do that for 2 days is going to be a difficult thing.
Teams race to their spots, hoping that their first stop is the right stop.
I heard the deep white's rocking, so we got our work cut out for us.
If the deep white's on, the deep guys will get them, and if the sun comes out, the fish move up, hopefully we get them.
It's a 2-day event, and teams will have to strategize to ensure that they bring in 2 days of big weights.
I like 2 days because then you get to manage fish and we can kind of play around and keep things till the second day and so on and so forth. It just changes up the game plan a bit, but I like it a lot. It's a new challenge, so I'm really excited for it.
I'd be happier if it was 3 days. Yeah, the more days, the better. I think it really gives an edge to guys that are consistent.
The 2017 Team of the Year, Lenny DeVos and Jeff Delage lead the field, with Dave Chong and Doug Brownridge making a late-season charge to finish right behind them. Dave Roy and Jason Kluber finished the year 11th in the standings, while Mike Brown and Brian Campbell also strung together a top 20 standing. With the top 40 making it into the 2017 Renegade Bass Classic, and the tour having already stopped in Cornwall for Qualifier 2, every team is familiar with these waters, and whether you qualify first or 40th, come day 1 of the Classic, everyone starts at 0, and everyone has an equal shot at the grand prize.
So our Classic this year, as always, is mid-September, and it's kind of a transition time for the fish. We had our first major cold fronts of the year, of the late summer. It really can change the patterns of the fish. So our water temps are 65. If the weather stays stable overnight, which it's supposed to, tomorrow could be an absolute slam fest.
Some teams are super confident going into today, but that feeling quickly dissipates as they hit their first spots in the morning. For Lenny, he was expecting a few big fish in the box early after the successful practice yesterday. For Lenny and Jeff, they waste no time getting on the board this morning. Unfortunately, the first few fish are not the ones they found in practice. They look to sift through the smaller bites, hoping to land fish that are 4+ pound caliber, which will help them get their bag weight into the 20s, a target for many teams. Confidence that these teams are experiencing is built from pre-fish, and after a few days of seeing good fish, why wouldn't they feel good about their chances?
Probably over easily 600 waypoints of fish we've seen in the last week we've been here.
This isn't even the spot that I think is going to win it.
This one is probably the one I should win. If anyone, this we have a lot of fish stacked up, ready to go.
Good thing I played baseball when I was young. I thought maybe we were doing something wrong. There's no boats down here. Everybody must have went the other way. More little ones. Fish on. Got him. There we go. Oh my God. See my rod's here. Come on.
The unfortunate part about big smallmouth is that they have tails and they like to use them.
So we caught up with the two Marks behind us, Mark Hanlon, Mark Robinson. No strangers to success here on Lake St. Francis. They've had some big tournament wins here in the past. Early morning and they're on a big bag of fish already. They're doing their thing. A lot of deep drifting. We're seeing a lot of guys drifting deep water today just to start their morning.
This has been a good place. This area's been good for us. Because it's deep fishing, it's what we love to do. Mark and I like to drag tubes, drop shots.
We had a good practice. Seemed to be catching lots of fours, finding fours in different locations. Today we caught fish 4-pounder shallow. We caught fish in 55 feet of water today, so we found the 3 fish yet to be better than this.
Not the ones we're looking for.
I think every fish we have now is over 4, so trying to stick a 5 or a 6.
As the morning wears on, teams are realizing that Lake St. Francis is a fish factory. The only problem is that teams will have to go through a lot of small fish before they can get the right 5.
We're getting fish. They're not big fish, but lots of day left. A little more bothersome if that was what we're after.
probably by 7:45. We had a limit, but we're upgrading for ounces, not pounds. That's the problem.
We got 2 4+s in the box, 3 1/4, 3. So we got to work that out for us. Big fish are not around. I'm kind of shocked actually.
We were this morning, we got one good one first thing this morning in the shallows, but I found a 7-pounder in practice there. And I pulled away from it. It's a monster. So we went back there and we just come from there again, trying to see if he's back there with the sun up again.
Not like the ones I swinging in Morrisburg or Rockville, were they?
Lots of fish, just harder to find the big ones. We need to look into a few big ones today and have a shot.
We need a 5-pounder every day. Like we definitely, well, everyone does, right?
But we figured if we caught 50 plus fish each day, we'd come up with at least a decent 5 fish. It's a lot more fun fishing this way and going through numbers than fishing for 5 bites.
One thing about the Classic is that everyone has an equal shot at winning the biggest prize of the year. Team 35, Pete McCormick and Paolo Cicciarelli, have had a tough go at the qualifiers and are looking to redeem themselves.
I've never really had the greatest luck fishing tournaments, period. And I wouldn't say I'm a bad angler or anything like that. It's just I've never had a really good day while fishing a tournament.
For me, it's a little bit different because I've been in Renegade for a while, and I've had some top 10s here and there. I've never won an event.
With the Classic, every team starts from zero and has a chance to win it all. One good event can erase a mediocre season.
Feel pretty good. Had an RA practice. Didn't get to spend as much time as I would have liked to, but we definitely found the fish that we need to do well.
We discovered that pretty much if we stayed anywhere between 20 and like 35 feet of water, that seemed to be the ticket, right?
It was the first time really things started gelling together. It just means so much because now I don't second guess myself.
Nice way to start off with a doubleheader.
There's nothing like getting to your spot and bringing in the right fish to boost your confidence. The goal now is to keep that momentum going. Pete and Paolo are on some good fish and they have a plan to keep that going for the rest of today and into tomorrow.
There was one spot where we started in the morning and stuck a pretty good one. So
yeah, first cast of the morning and landed high 3. Yeah. When I caught one fish there in practice, it just kind of solidified everything. And it was really tough in practice, so I figured if I do catch one there, I'm more likely to catch numbers after, right?
And we know it's a spot that'll regenerate.
Yeah.
And we know that we can go there first thing in the morning tomorrow and get 14, 15 right away. Kind of takes the edge off of things. And for myself, it makes me fish a lot more comfortable if I've got 14, 15 in the morning, and then I can just go hunting.
Yep, that's an upgrade.
A lot of teams have spent the morning trying to find good fish. Leonard Horbick and Carl Donnelly aren't one of them. They have a good limit of fish and are now just hunting for a kicker.
Well, there's not as much pressure as it was this morning where we were. Got 5 other boats there. Now it's running around and look for one here, one there. definitely a lot of fun. I mean, got into a lot of smallies. We got into a pot of them, and it was just our day.
We caught what we pre-fished for. You don't feel bad when you're catching that many fish, but when the pressure's on, it's different.
Need 20 pounds just to keep in contention. I'm sure that's what everybody else is saying too. Actually got one on the tube. Amazing. Don't let him jump again. A couple ounces help. Every bit helps.
So I think one thing that the shallow guys would really count on is the sun, and here it is. Maybe their afternoon bite will pick up for them.
So welcome to Renegade Bass Tour Classic here on Lake St. Francis. So we're going to start weighing some fish here. Guys are just settling behind us.
As boats come in, teams acknowledge that the changing conditions between pre-fish and tournament day had an impact.
I actually caught a 6-pound fish in practice, and that didn't happen today.
He's got fans,
unfortunately. So yeah, a little bit disappointing, but yeah, what do you do, right? That's fishing, huh?
It didn't go that great. Practice wasn't that great either. We don't have a ton of weight, but made it work for what it was for it anyway, so it's a bit disappointing, but it happens.
Franny does hold big fish, and some teams were able to get on them, but some teams would have to adjust their expectations.
The fish in practice were much bigger, same areas, but today they were all 3 1/4. You know, the odd 3 1/2, and in practice they were all 4, 4 1/2. So yeah, they shrunk.
I think it was decent. Could have been better. We definitely have a lot more fish to go to tomorrow, so depending what happens today, tomorrow could be just as good, and we'll see how everybody else does.
We caught lots of fish, just all in the same range, just over that 3 1/2 pound range. I think we'll be a little bit further back than we had hoped, but you know, tomorrow's another day.
Despite a tough day on the water, some teams will still come out on top trying to establish their position in the standings. Lenny DeVos and Jeff Delage would set the bar high for day one, weighing in 22.36 pounds.
They get better?
Oh, 50, 60, maybe better. 10 o'clock, we were looking for something over 4 and change, and I think we burned a lot of high 3s and some 4s to look for them, but that's part of the game. We're here to win the boat, and the second place isn't good enough.
Teams that followed would leave the stage a little disappointed, even after placing some nice big fish on the scales.
Team 22, green fish. Get that picture.
Flawed decisions and bad conditions would contribute to poorer than expected results. A 20-pound bag isn't bad, it's just that it could have been a lot better.
We're around big fish all day. We just couldn't get them to stay on. We caught a nice fish at the end, so we kind of saved face a little bit.
Some teams that struggled during the qualifiers now found themselves inching closer to the leading weight. Past standings now surpassed by new potential.
Today was the first
time really things started gelling together. It just means so much because now I don't second guess myself, and that I don't care about the prize. I don't care about any of that stuff. It just gives me confidence to know that I'm doing it right.
We should be actually weighing in a monster bag. We should be over 24 today, but we lost probably a dozen fish that were over 5 pounds. I'm gonna take that weight because we thought we were maybe 18 and a half, 19, so almost 21 pounds. We're stoked! He's fired up. 2085.
Team 7, Brian Pollock and Troy Greasy have been steady eddies throughout the series. They figured out a solid pattern and caught some nice fish today as well.
No, we were happy today, that's for sure. We had a decent practice and we found, I think, fish to keep us in the running anyway, so it'll all be about tomorrow.
Come on, JC, how'd it go out there? So, you feel better about your boat now?
Team 8 would once again fall just short of ousting the top team from their spot. Still, they had an impressive performance that saw them weigh in a 22+ pound bag. If anyone could be a threat to the current leaders, it would be local favorites Andy Kinsler and Scott Leckie. Being proven winners and locals to Lake St. Francis gives this team the advantage of experience.
Our practice for the most part was kind of disappointing. We were trying to run around, find some shallow fish, and of course the weather's been so awful that was hard to do. So we scrambled up some deep fish today early to get us going, and then we were fortunate to catch a real big one late in the day, a little shallower, which has really helped us big time.
Team 21 would take the lead thanks to a monster bass that would end up being big fish of the day.
Big fish magnets, 587. Up next, Team 26, Len Horbick, Carl Donnelly.
Andy and Scott wouldn't hold on to the day 1 lead for long. Len Horbick and Carl Donnelly would climb onto the stage moments later to take the lead going into day 2.
Wow, Len.
I don't think I've ever placed anything better than 4th place in Renegade. This is a very good group of fishermen here, and to come in first with a lot of these guys, the amount these guys fish, and to come in first, we were blown away.
In an incredibly tight race, Len Horbick and Carl Donnelly lead after the first day of competition, followed closely by locals Andy Kinsler and Scott Leckie. Less than a quarter pound back sits Team of the Year Lenny DeVos and Jeff Delage. With 10 bags over 20 pounds and almost half the field less than 4 pounds back, the story for tomorrow will be fish management, experience, and decisions when it comes to crowning the 2017 Renegade Bass Tour Classic champions.